Let me ask you a simple question. What if the life you dream of is not far away, but just trapped behind a habit that you repeat every single day without even noticing? Imagine this: the goals you wrote, the plans you made, they didn't fail because you were incapable. They failed because your old patterns were stronger than your new dreams. And today, we break those patterns. We live in a world where people are exhausted not because they work too much, but because they worry too much, doubt too much, and replay the past too much. They wake up carrying yesterday into today and then wonder why today feels exactly like yesterday. But here's the truth no one teaches you. Energy isn't something you wait for. Energy is something you generate. The moment you change your state, your breath, your focus, your movement, you unlock a version of yourself with power you forgot you had. Look back at the days when you felt alive. Maybe it was a victory moment, a celebration, or even a challenge you overcame. Energy came because your mind, body, and emotions were aligned with purpose. You weren't thinking, what if I fail? You were thinking, I must succeed. Most people live in patterns designed by fear. Fear creates hesitation. Hesitation creates inaction. Inaction creates regret. But confidence works the same way. Take action. Action builds courage. Courage breaks the old pattern. Your old patterns are your oldest prisons. But here's the good news. You built the prison, which means you can also build the door. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you choose growth over excuses, you break brick after brick after brick. Today, make a declaration. Not that you want a better life, but that you will create one. Not someday, now. Because unlimited energy isn't found in comfort, it's discovered in challenge. And the moment you break the pattern that has been holding you back, you don't just change your day, you change your destiny. Every human being is born with potential, far beyond what they ever tap into. From childhood, we are told, you can become anything, and in many cases it's true. The capacity to learn, to adapt, to build, and to rise exists in every one of us. But if potential alone shaped destiny, everyone would succeed. Reality proves otherwise. The world is full of brilliant minds who never built the life they imagined and ordinary people who achieved extraordinary heights. The difference between the two is not intelligence, luck, or talent, it is patterns. A pattern is not just a habit, it is a repeated emotional, mental, and behavioral cycle that becomes your autopilot. If your pattern is procrastination, you don't choose to delay, you drift into it. If your pattern is overthinking, doubt becomes your closest companion. If your pattern is fear-based decision-making, you shrink from opportunities even while saying you want growth. The truth is harsh but liberating. Your potential is infinite, but your patterns are in charge of the steering wheel. You may want success, but if your pattern is to avoid discomfort, you will sabotage your own progress. You may want confidence, but if your pattern is internal criticism and replaying past failures, your energy will collapse before you take the first step. Patterns form when experiences repeat. They strengthen when thoughts and emotions reinforce them. A child laughed at for speaking in class may create a lifelong pattern of silence. A person betrayed once may adopt the pattern of mistrusting everyone. These patterns feel like identity, but they are not identity. They are survival strategies misplaced and overused. However, here lies the empowering side. Patterns are learned, which means they can be unlearned. Change begins the moment you stop asking, what do I want? And start asking, what pattern is preventing it? Most people never analyze their patterns, they analyze their problems. Problems point to pain, patterns point to cause. Your future changes the second your patterns change. Replace hesitation with action. Results follow. Replace self-doubt with self-direction. Momentum builds. Replace fear with courage. Not absence of fear, but presence of purpose. And suddenly the same world looks like a field of possibilities. Potential is a promise. Patterns determine whether that promise is delivered. Your life expands, shrinks, accelerates, or stalls based on the patterns you tolerate and the ones you break. Rewrite your patterns, and you rewrite your destiny. Most people believe energy is purely physical, something that increases with rest and decreases with hard work. While the body does require rest, energy is far more than a biological condition. It is a psychological, emotional, and behavioral state that we create through our thoughts, emotions, and patterns. This is why some people can work 10 hours, speak passionately, and still feel alive, while others feel exhausted just thinking about the work they haven't even started. Energy begins in the mind. When your thoughts are empowering, hopeful, and directed toward a goal, your body responds with enthusiasm. When your thoughts are filled with doubt, replaying past mistakes, or fearing future outcomes, your body responds as if it is under threat. A single thought can accelerate your heartbeat, change your posture, shorten your breath, and drain your motivation. This proves a powerful truth. Energy is not something you wait for, it's something you ignite. Emotion fuels energy. Think about a moment of excitement. You move faster, speak louder, smile bigger. Now think of a moment of sadness. Your shoulders drop, your pace slows, your voice softens. The circumstances might be external, but the energy shift is internal. Emotions can either drain energy like a leak in a tank or amplify it like fuel in a rocket. Behavior seals the cycle. The actions you take either reinforce energy or kill it. Scrolling endlessly, complaining, staying in a comfort zone, replaying negative scenarios, these behaviors don't just waste time, they drain energy. On the other hand, movement generates energy. A 30-second power move, a deep breath, a bold decision, a burst of clarity. These ignite physiological signals that awaken strength and direction. Here's the deeper secret. Your brain rewards repetition. Whatever emotional and behavioral patterns you feed become your default state. If you repeatedly act tired, think tired, speak tired, you train your brain to live tired. But if you repeatedly think possibility, act decisively, move with purpose, your brain adapts and supplies the energy needed to support it. Energy is not a mystery. Energy is a cycle. Thought creates emotion. Emotion fuels action. Action reinforces thought. The people who feel alive are not lucky. They are intentional. They don't wait for the right mood or perfect situation. They generate energy by controlling their internal language, emotional direction, and physical state. When you master what you think, what you feel, and what you repeatedly do, you unlock a source of energy that doesn't run out because it comes from within. Many people believe life changes only through massive, dramatic actions. Quitting everything, moving to a new place, waiting for a miracle, or hitting rock bottom. But the truth is this. Major transformation often begins with minor adjustments, small shifts in physical state, emotional direction, and mental focus. A single step can interrupt a lifelong pattern, because patterns cannot survive when the state that created them is disrupted. To understand this, imagine someone who has spent years doubting themselves. Their pattern is self-questioning, hesitation, overthinking. Change doesn't always require rewriting their entire personality. It can begin with a small shift, changing posture, speaking with certainty, breathing deeper, or replacing one self-doubting sentence with one empowering thought. These actions seem small, but they interrupt the old neural wiring that reinforced the pattern for years. The human mind responds instantly to state changes. When you laugh, it becomes difficult to feel afraid in the same moment. When you run, it becomes hard to stay depressed physically. When you focus intensely on a goal, fear loses some of its volume. These shifts do not erase challenges, but they reduce the emotional grip those challenges once had. Think of it like steering a ship. Change the angle by just 1 degree, and over time the destination becomes completely different. Small shifts compound. 1 extra hour of productive work a day becomes 365 hours a year. 1 decision to speak up becomes a reputation built on confidence. 1 refusal to tolerate disrespect becomes a declaration of self-worth. Small doesn't mean insignificant. Small is the seed of significant. Most limiting behaviors start in moments of low emotional state and then become routines. A person doesn't suddenly become a chronic procrastinator. They delay a little, feel guilt, delay again to escape the guilt, and soon it becomes a cycle. But that cycle was created by small, repeated actions, which means small reversed actions can begin to dismantle it. Small shifts do not wait for motivation. They create it. Standing instead of slouching, saying I will instead of I can't, trying once instead of quitting, each is a message to the brain that you are no longer the same pattern. A lifetime of limitation begins with small tolerances. A lifetime of empowerment begins with small changes. You don't need to transform everything overnight. You only need to interrupt the pattern today and repeat the interruption tomorrow. So many people walk through life believing the only way to be happy is to change everything around them. New job, new place, new partner, new chances. They think fulfillment exists somewhere out there, waiting for them when conditions become perfect. But the reality is completely opposite. Your life doesn't change by replacing everything. It changes by upgrading the lens through which you see everything. A new life doesn't begin when circumstances change. A new life begins when you change. You can place 2 people in the same environment, same home, same city, same opportunities, and watch them create totally different outcomes. One sees obstacles, the other sees possibilities. One reacts with fear, the other responds with creativity. The difference isn't the life they were given, it's the mindset they operate from and the emotional patterns they continuously live in. Your mindset is the story you tell yourself about what's possible. Your emotional pattern is how you respond to that story, whether with courage or with hesitation. If you constantly feel unworthy, unprepared, or unlucky, even the biggest opportunity will look like a threat. A closed mindset turns stepping stones into walls. But once your mindset shifts, once you start to believe you're capable, deserving, and resilient, the same obstacles become invitations to grow. Transformation is not about escaping your life, it's about reclaiming control of it. Your emotional patterns, those repeat emotional states you return to, create the tone of your existence. If frustration, anxiety, or self-doubt have become your default, success will feel distant even if it stands right in front of you. But choose gratitude instead of complaint. Choose courage instead of avoidance. Choose learning instead of fear. And suddenly, the life you wanted starts revealing itself from within the life you already have. We often underestimate the power of internal shifts because they don't feel dramatic, but mindset and emotions are the architects of action. They decide what you attempt, what you avoid, and what meaning you attach to every moment. You do not need a miracle. You do not need a reset button. You simply need a mind that believes in growth and emotions aligned with possibility. A new mindset opens the door. A new emotional pattern walks you through it. And just like that, the life you wanted isn't somewhere else. It's right here, waiting for you to see it differently.